Welcome back to The Bible Says What? Today I will summarize Psalm chapter 15, a short 5-verse chapter where David wrote a song describing the person who will be permitted to live with God on his holy hill. David began, "Lord, who may live in your tent? Who may dwell on your holy hill? Only he who walks in perfect integrity and is completely righteous. Only he who always speaks and thinks truth in his heart. Only he who never slanders with his tongue or does any evil to his neighbor. Only he who hates a reprobate sinner. Only he who honors other people who fear the Lord. Only he who never breaks his agreements. Only he who never loans money with interest. Only he who never accepts a bribe. Only this kind of person is able to live with God." The most important verses in this chapter are Psalm 15, 1 and 2, which state, "Lord, who shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill? He that walketh uprightly, and worketh righteousness, and speaketh the truth in his heart." The thing I think the Lord wants us to understand after reading this chapter is that it is impossible to live with God on his holy hill unless he gives us these characteristics. He requires perfect integrity and righteousness, among other things. Are you starting to see the picture yet? No one can live with God without being pure and righteous. So how can anyone live with God, you might ask? If you did ask that question, you are finally starting to understand. No one will ever be able to live up to the high standards God requires. No amount of good deeds can pay for our sin. But God loved us so much that he sent his Son to die on a cross as our substitute. Jesus is holy, pure, and righteous, and he wants to give you those characteristics as a gift. Just take the gift already. Why don't you consider repenting for your sin and turn to the Lord for salvation today? Jesus humbled himself and died on a cross as my substitute and your substitute, and the Father raised Jesus from the dead. Jesus conquered hell and death, and his return is near. God said that if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, and if you believe in your heart that the Father raised Jesus from the dead, you would be saved. Why don't you do that right now? Hey, thanks for watching the Psalm chapter 15 episode. If you enjoyed it, please share it with someone. If you want to join me on this long video journey, feel free to subscribe to the channel. See you next time.